So you were marked with, or falsely diagnosed with a eating disorder.
Yeah. Yeah. So it kind of all stems from so this was the eating disorder diagnosis happened when I was in 6th grade. The very beginning of 6th grade for me. The diagnosis kind of it came as a shock for everyone because my primary thing was I was anxious. I was just always a very anxious kid. And I kind of stopped going to school. I had a really hard time going to school. And that raised some red flags for the nurse at the school at the time who wanted to call Child Protective Services on my parents if they didn't do something. They thought that they weren't feeding me. They thought they were abusing me, which was not the case at all. So it really actually stems from me being really little. So I think I was like maybe 4, and I was in those little kid dance classes. And I was with twins that both apparently had the stomach flu. And they were on either side of me. And I remember we had to hold hands. And my mom has kind of told me some of this too to like remind me what, happened. But anyway, they had just been sick. And so, of course, I caught it. And I was extremely sick. Like, I was not great. I remember my parents having to call to get medicine to help stop me throwing up. I was only like 4. And ever since then, I had this terrible fear of throwing up. Very, it was very debilitating because I wouldn't do certain things. I was excessively washing my hands. People couldn't say the word vomit. They couldn't say the word throw up.
Anything that made you think of it.
Anything. And then, when you're in elementary school, like kids will just like throw up in class. And that was like
Triggering.
Oh, it was so bad. It was like I couldn't walk near them. I couldn't go over to the desk that they had gotten sick at. I didn't want to go to school. I was just so terrified I was going to catch it. And that was like my whole existence was just being terrified of catching the stomach flu.
What's up, you guys? I'm sorry for interrupting this wonderful, wonderful fucking story that Genevieve is willing to be able to tell us today. She is an extremely powerful woman for being able to share her story from her traumas from when she was a child. It affected her throughout her entire lifespan, and she is willing to put her stuff out there only to be able to help others. And the only way we're going to be able to continue to do that is through your support. I need you to be able to go down to the bottom of the screen, click that subscribe button. Please click that like button. Smash that like button, actually. Go ahead and do it. It's the only way this channel is going to grow. It's the only way I'm going to eventually be able to make money, to be able to produce even better content, get better knowledge, gain better experience. I'm not going to hold you up any longer. Thank you again for all your support. Let's get back to the show.
And so I remember it got to the point where I did get sick. I think it was 3rd grade. And if I got sick wearing a certain outfit or like a shirt or something like that, my mom had to throw it away because I would never wear it again. Even if it was washed, I would never wear that shirt again. I'd never put that outfit on again. I couldn't touch it. And I, again, excessively washing my hands. It got to the point where I was excessively taking my temperature.
Yeah.
Like within a minute, I was taking my temperature like 10 times within a minute. Like it would go off and I would just put it right back. And then my parents had to actually hide the thermometer from me because it got that excessive. And I would even remember the meals that I would eat the night that I would get sick. So then I couldn't eat that meal on a Wednesday night in such and such month because that's what I ate at that time when I got sick. So it was getting more intense as I was getting older. So by the time I hit 4th, 5th, 6th grade, I had developed this thought in my head that if I limited the amount of food that I ate, I wouldn't throw up because there'd be nothing in my stomach to throw up. So I myself wasn't eating as much because the anxiety around eating was that I was going to get, like, I would get sick.
You had fear of throwing up.
Yes, which is emetophobia, which
Yeah.
I didn't find out had a name until a couple years ago, actually. Just from being on the internet and looking for other people that are strange like me. And so because I had lost all of that weight and things had gotten really hard for me to eat, I was this was back in 2007. 2006 to 2007. I was 67 pounds and I was in 6th grade, and I was pretty tall as a kid too. So I was a legit string bean. And I had a really hard time going to school because I was scared that I would throw up and my parents wouldn't be there. I'd have no way of getting home. It would be embarrassing because what if it happened at school? And so I was just also anxious, which makes you nauseous. So I just didn't feel good all the time. And 6th grade is like the year where schools, like the different elementary schools, come together and you set your friend base, you know? And so I feel like my whole world was kind of turned upside down because I didn't get that friend base like at all. You know, I was kind of like missing that structure because I pretty much missed almost all of 6th grade. So it started to get worse December of 2006. I was refusing to go to school. I wouldn't get on the school bus. My mom was trying to get me to go. I didn't want to stay in the classroom. I was trying to get the seat closest to the door in case I needed to jump up and run out of the classroom. I was like really struggling. And I wanted help. I wanted to gain weight because I didn't want to look like this child. Yeah, I was like in 6th grade. I was like, for lack of a better way of saying it, like I wanted boobs. I wanted to like look like I was becoming an adolescent, not a child. And I was not going to because I wasn't gaining weight. And with that being said, that's when the nurse had the red flag of like something's going on. She threatened my parents with Child Protective Services. So my parents looked into what they could do to get me help. They had me talk to so many different people. Everybody was saying I had generalized anxiety disorder. And I eventually wound up going to a very well-renowned eating disorder hospital in the Maryland area. And the day that I was admitted, it's kind of a blur. I was crying a lot because I knew that I was going to be staying inpatient for a while. And my sister and my mom and my dad took me to kind of get me registered and admitted and everything.